about a guy like Dylan Klein? I mean, he's from LA, specifically from Pacific Palisades, went to Loyola High School, and so far he's just been a dominant player all around during his tenure here at USC, as Klein is back to serve here for the Trojans. He gets that one to fall over the net, dug up by the Wildcats. Back over to the Trojans. Blanchette serves it up along with Klein. Over to Roberts. Gets that one over the Wildcats side here. And they answer back. And it's blocked. Straight to me, actually. I just got the ball. So, what a first set. It looks like that they get the first set here. And what a performance by them. As now the Wildcats will try and respond. But Klein back to serve. Gets that one over. Dug up by Griffin. And that's blocked by USC. As they have it again, Blanchette serves it up. And USC brings it down by Tyler Robinson on the point there with the kill.
USC's serve pass outlet on that play, a lot more efficient than on that first drive, as we saw, with Klein being able to set the tone with sort of that curveball serve he has.
And he just sends that one as quick as possible over the Wildcat side. And it's blocked by USC again as the Wildcats are trying to find a way to get it over. And Blanchette sets it up. Again, Tyler Robinson gets another point for the Trojans as they take a 2-0 lead here in the first set. Well, now it's 3-0 after that one.
Fort Valley State showing some shades of the past two games where they just couldn't efficiently hit. And not only that, just trying to find the holes in USC's defense as we see a service ace there. Really difficult for them to dig those out.
As USC gets another point there off the serve from Dylan Klein. Catches the Wildcats off guard on that serve. And Klein's back to serve again. It's 4-0. And gets another point. Are in a formation. Klein gets that one over the net. Wildcats dig that one up, try to bring it home, and it's blocked by USC. Blanchette serves it up, and Foley just tips that one over. Another point for USC as they take a 6-0 lead here in this first set.
Yeah, I mean, just the eye test. USC, a lot bigger of a team than Fort Valley State so far. Just being able to pick those holes as Sterling Foley, showing what he did last year in his freshman campaign.
Yeah, most definitely, as Klein receives it there. Blanchette serves it up. Roberts tries to get it, and it's coming my way. He saves it. And Tyler Robinson tips it over for the Trojans, and the Wildcats just can't find a way to get a hand on it as they take a 7-0 lead here in the first set.
For Tyler Robinson, it's all about taking initiative, and that's what he's done so far, hitting a perfect 1,000 on the match so far. He's been right in the middle where they need him.
As Klein tries to get that one over the net, but can't get it over, so Wildcats will have a point here in the first set, something that they were looking for before this dominant run by USC. So now the Wildcats will be back to serve here, specifically Tavion Martin. Serves that one up. Blanchette, and Robinson brings it home for the Trojans, and they take an 8-1 lead here in the first set with 1:30 to go. And Robinson will be back to serve here for the Trojans. Gets that one over. And looks like that will be out of bounds and will be a point for the Wildcats here. Just couldn't get that one to fall over the net.
No, not at all. USC brings in Dykstra. But look at that front line with Robinson, or rather Roberts and Smith. Just the pure height that USC has out in front. And that doesn't even include Tompkinson. Just kind of a glimpse of what you could have later on in the season.
Yeah, as the Wildcats can't get that one over the net, so it'll be a point for USC as Roberts is back to serve here for the Trojans. Takes his time, serves that one over the net. The Wildcats have it here, set up by Jeremy Jacob Gray. Now USC has it again. Foley tries to tip it over, blocked by the Wildcats. Blanchette, Roberts tries to bring it home, and it's tipped off of Muhammad Mbaye, and that'll be a point for USC since that ball did go out of bounds. So now the Trojans will have a 10-2 lead here in the first set.
USC hits hard. If you're going to try to block a player like Noah Roberts, you have to be able to be so precise at the net, and he does a great job of deflecting.
And Roberts sends that one over. It's dug up, and USC has it again. Foley tries to, but it's blocked by Muhammad Mbaye again, and gets the point for the Wildcats as they cut the deficit to 7 here in the first set.
Just need to slow down USC. It's hard to hit 600 all game, and that's where USC's out right now. The Wildcats can go on a run.
As Fed sends that one over, and Dylan Klein tries to bring that one down, but it looks like that is going to be a point for USC since it did stay in bounds. So now it's going to be 11-3 USC here in the first set with the help of Dylan Klein, somebody who we talked about pregame, has really shown the type of player he is ahead of today's game.
And he's versatile. You don't need him necessarily to rack up 25-plus kills. It's a plus, but his passing ability, side out, wherever that may be. And it looks like a challenge coming from Fort Valley State, as initially the call was out of bounds.
Yeah, and the point was awarded to USC, so we'll see if the challenge will be successful here.
I think they're going to look at a deflection.
As the refs are currently reviewing it right now. But you talk about a dominant performance so far by USC, but you kind of just see Dylan Klein comes over, jumping out the gym, and I don't know.
Hard to tell from that angle. We don't really have the corner. It looks like it hits the official.
I think it does. He's trying to duck out the way, but can't dodge that ball there. The refs are still deliberating to see if the challenge will be successful for the Wildcats.
The other question is, does it hit Jaden Barnes on the way down toward that corner? A little hard to see at Galen Center, that white line on the light hardwood. But if Klein did get a piece, and it looks like it actually is going to go to Fort Valley State.
And that will go to Fort Valley State, so a point will be deducted from USC, and it will go to the Wildcats, as now the score is 10-4 here in the first set. And as Isaiah Fed is back to serve for the Wildcats. And can't get that one to fall over the net, so it will be a point for USC here. We score 11-4 as the Trojans will be back to serve. Sterling Foley has it. Foley sets that one up, and it's caught by the Wildcats. Set over, and Keaton Long tries to bring that one over the net, but can't succeed there. So it will be a point for the Trojans as they block it. Oh, so, excuse me. For the Wildcats, actually, as they have it now here for Mbaye. Set it over to USC, and Wesley Smith tries to tap that one over. And USC will get the point there, as now the score is 12-5 for the Trojans.
Wesley Smith with just a fantastic journey to this point. He's dealt with injuries over the past couple of years. Getting a role now is so needed with Parker Tompkinson not in today.
Yeah, so far he has 18 kills on the season as he serves that one over the net, and the Wildcats try and save it. And Keaton Long tries to put that one on the Trojans' heels, but he is not successful there, so the point will be awarded to USC, as now the score will be 13-5 here still in the first set, as Smith is back to serve.
Trojans still hitting .417, keeping up such a good pace, one of the most efficient hitting teams in the country.
And it's set up there for the Wildcats. Can't deliver. The Trojans keep it alive. It's set up for Dylan Klein here, and it's caught by Jaden Barnes. Now over for Jeremy Jacob Gray, and it looks like that will be a point for the Wildcats as they cut the deficit to 7 now in the first set.
It's not easy to catch a guy like Dylan Klein off guard, but when you do, that's how you get back to breaking even, as finally the Wildcats back up, not in the negative anymore, hitting 0.
As the serve from Keaton Long goes out of bounds, so the Trojans will be awarded the point here. And now the score will be 14-6 in this first set. Blanchette back to serve for the Trojans. Gets that one to fall over the net. Back over to USC. And that's going to be a point for USC thanks to Dylan Klein. So they're going to have a 9-point lead here in the first set.
That's just a messy reception from Isaiah Fed. You know how talented of a player Dylan Klein is, but that's just making it way too easy for him. Tees it up on him. And it looked like he wasn't even expecting that free of a ball.
As Blanchette has it back to serve here over to the Wildcat side. Set up by Logan Rogers, tipped over. Back to USC. Foley has it, sets it up for Dylan Klein, and he just taps that one over, and the Wildcats can't save that one as it hits the hardwood, and the Trojans will be awarded the point again as they take a 10-point lead here in the first set. Blanchette back to serve again. And it's caught. Oh, and USC meets the Wildcats at the net over to Roberts, and he delivers and brings that one down for USC again. And now the score will be 17-6, USC.
And that's how you respond from a couple of plays you'd like to have back if you're USC. It's a 4-0 run designed by some really tactical plays.
As the Wildcats try to convert there, and it looks like has it and sends that one over to the net, or to the Wildcats, I should say. And the Trojans have it again. Blanchette serves it up. Foley brings it down, and it's kept up by Keaton Long, and that one's going to fall out of bounds. And the point will be awarded for USC, as now the score is 19-6 here in this first set.
Going back to those rankings for a second, 5 of the top 6 teams in the country are in California. I mean, talk about front-loading the schedule. If you're Fort Valley State playing 3 of those teams out the gate, and for USC, I mean, we know how difficult it has been. And I don't think it's a secret within this program. Playing in conference play has sometimes shifted in a negative way toward down the stretch.
Yeah, as Dylan Klein tries to bring that one over for the Trojans, and the Wildcats answer back there, and it's set up for Roberts as he brings that one over. Now the Wildcats have it set up by Logan Rogers over here. Now USC. Roberts tries to bring it in for the Trojans, but the Wildcats get the best of that one there for that serve and that set. But a point will be awarded to them, as now the score will be 19-8 as Jeremy Jacob Gray is back to serve for the Wildcats. Foley gets the dig there, set up by Blanchette, and is thrown over by Tyler Robinson. And the Trojans take a 12-point lead here.
Tyler Robinson still hitting 1,000 on the day with a block and a dig. Feels like a game for him where he's just been so comfortable in the middle. He kind of hits it at a little bit of an angle, kind of slices down at it. Really causes that extra spin.
As Dylan Klein gets that one over. And now the Wildcats are trying to convert here. And they do with the help of Isaiah Fed. And now they will add another point to the scoreboard for the Wildcats. And the score is going to be 20-9 here as Tavion Martin is back to serve for Fort Valley. Serves that one over. Blanchette sets it up, tries to bring it down, and it's blocked by Muhammad Mbaye. So it looks like the Trojans will get the point there as it goes out of bounds. So the Trojans will get the point for there now as they take a lead 21-9 here in this first set.
Well, that's Tyler Robinson once again. He's a player that's so critical for USC this season, a guy that, again, has gotten looks over the course of his career, but as only a sophomore, only played 4 matches last year. His role is going to elevate so much, especially with how much competition there was around USC with the freshmen last year.
As Robinson couldn't connect on the serve and was back to the Wildcats, and they took that serve out of bounds. So now the point will be awarded to the Trojans, as the Trojans will now have a 12-point lead as Blanchette comes out of bounds along with Roberts. And the Trojans will be back to serve here to try and finish this first set, as Ryan Sprague will have the ball here for the Trojans. Gets that one over the net, set up by Fed, by Rogers, back to Fed, and it's blocked by Wesley Smith and Foley, but it looks like that ball went out of bounds, so the Wildcats will get the point there. as Fed will be back to serve here for Fort Valley State. Serves that one up. Foley catches it. Sets it up again. Trojans cannot get anything to convert there, and the Wildcats really put up a wall there as they get the point and cut the deficit to 10.
Well, these are sort of the baby steps I talked about earlier with Fort Valley State, what you can learn in a game like this. It's still early, but they're hitting in the positive now again, trying to take advantage of having the serve.
And Sprague sets that one up on a silver platter for Wesley Smith, and he says, I'm ready to eat, and gets the point for USC as they take a 23-12 lead here in this first set. And looks like the marching band is trying to get some tunes here in this match as the serve by Foley goes out of bounds. And the Wildcats will have the ball here. And we talked about those service errors earlier before this match, and they already have 5 service errors rather than Fort Valley's 4. So that's something that they're definitely going to have to limit, as the Wildcats can't convert on that serve, and the point will be awarded to USC.
Well, there's the 5th one there for Fort Valley State, but I think for USC, just trying to work out the early kinks of the season, but also in matches, go down the stretch and dominate is the goal. As
Wesley Smith serves that one over the net, Rogers sets it up, long blocked by USC. Wildcats again, Rogers brings that one up. Fed tries to deliver, and it's blocked by USC, but it looks like Fort Valley will get the point there. Yes, they will.
Dylan Klein blocked out in front.
As Long has it here for the serve for the Wildcats. Sprague sets it up, and Foley tries to deliver, and he does, as the Trojans take an 11-point lead here to end the first set. And the Trojans will have a 25-14 lead here in the first set, as they will be switching positions here on the hardwood. So what a first set there by USC. Really showed their domination as the Wildcats tried to answer, but
Service starts at 2, Wildcats number 3, Logan Rogers.
as he looks to set it right here and sends that one over, and Dylan Klein can't find a way to keep that one up, so the point will be awarded to the Wildcats. You talk about the freshman from Florida.
Yeah, that's the potential you see out of him. He's had his ups and downs to start this season. We talked about his inefficiency against Long Beach State, but really had a nice game against UCLA.
As the Trojans try to bring that one over, and the point will be awarded to the Wildcats as Robinson can't get that one to fall between the lines.
The old adage in sports is take what you can get. For Fort Valley right now, taking what you need is the approach, and they've come out strong in these first couple of plays.
As Rogers sends that one over the net, but that will be out of bounds, and the Trojans will receive a point there, as now it'll be 2-1 here in the second set. And Robinson will be back to serve for the Trojans. And it's set up by Rogers over to Long, met at the net by Roberts. Blanchette serves it for the Trojans, and Dylan Klein tries to bring that one home, but cannot succeed there as it is blocked by the Wildcats. So they will take the lead here in the second set.
For Fort Valley State, continuing to just let USC make mistakes has been the approach, as they have Fed the only player hitting in the positive at this point.
And USC is trying to get it over, and they do. Rogers sets it up here. And the Trojans are now trying to save it, and it's coming towards our side over here. And that will go out of bounds by USC. So the Wildcats will serve again, as Isaiah Fed is back to serve for Fort Valley.
It's pretty messy from USC. It was pretty much a free ball over on the Trojan side, and not being able to find a good angle on it was the demise of that play.
As Foley brings that one home for the Trojans to give them another point here on the board, as the Wildcats couldn't keep that one in the air.
So another luck. just picking the spots on the floor that make the most sense has been USC's approach so far, and it's worked out.
As it gets right past them, now the Wildcats will have it, and that's brought home by Mbaye, and they will now take the lead here over the Trojans, which I wasn't really expecting this heading into the second set.
Well, hit a lot more efficiently. You got to give it to him out the gate in this second set. Hitting 160. A lot of teams would scoff at that number, but for Fort Valley State, they've hit under 100 the last 2 games.
As that one goes out of bounds by Foley, and the point will be awarded to the Wildcats here. But that's something that this USC team has been so dominant so far. But in this second set, it looks like the Wildcats are trying to get the best of them here. As Wesley Smith tries to bring that one home, and it'll be out of bounds. And the Wildcats will be awarded another point.
Wouldn't be surprised if Jeff Nygaard calls a timeout in a moment, just to regroup a little bit in the second set. And Baye has been very strong for Fort Valley State, hitting 500 out the gate here.
Yeah, as Wesley Smith tries to get that one to fall over for the Trojans. And they do get the point there, something that they have been looking for in this second set. And they finally get it here, as now they cut the deficit to 4 for the Trojans. And it looks like Fort Valley State's bench is trying to hype up their team as they take the lead here. And that serve by Foley will be out of bounds. And we'll award them another point.
6 service errors for USC. It's become a lot more even between these two sides. USC had those quick aces like Aiden talked about on the sidelines, but you just can't be doing that in a game like this.
Yeah, you really can't, as Keaton Long tries to get that one to fall over for the Wildcats, the graduate student from Texas. But the Trojans get the point there, as Wesley Smith now is back to serve. Rogers tries to get that one over USC. USC trying to respond, but that one goes out of bounds again for the Wildcats, but the Trojans will get the point there.
And again, a messy play by USC, a broken play, but it resulted in a point. Lucky that Smith was able to get enough of a ball on that, or couldn't get back and play.
As Wesley Smith serves it up, already has 18 kills on the season here. As Wildcats send that one over, Blanchette tries to get that one up. Rogers sets this up for the Wildcats. Fed is met at the net by USC, so the point will go to the Trojans. And they're starting to make a comeback here in this second set, obviously off to a slow start. So we'll see how the Trojans can overcome an early obstacle that they had to begin this one.
We've talked about efficiency all day. Trojans hitting 265, came out the gate a 600 mark. Hitting percentage isn't everything, but USC's been a little messier in this set.
As Robert has it, sends it over to Klein. Back for the Wildcats, and Wesley Smith just can't keep that one up in the air. So the Wildcats will get another point. And it looks like they just are keeping the pedal to the metal here, as the bench for the Wildcats is going wild, literally, as now the bench is trying to hype up their teammates. But now USC will have it. And Foley knocks that one out of bounds. And the point will be awarded to the Wildcats, which it looks like they're moving off the momentum from their bench.
Suddenly the hitting percentage discrepancy is only around 100. USC hitting 229. Fort Valley State playing their best in this set.
And that one is saved, but goes out of bounds on the Wildcat side. And that was dug up there by Jaden Barnes, the libero. Now the Trojans will have to serve here. And Rogers tries to send it to Fed, gets that one over. And the point is awarded to the Wildcats.
Just the unenforced errors that USC continues to commit here in the second set. 9 errors on the attacking side for USC. to Fort Valley State's 5. The Trojans have double the amount of kills. Just speaks to rather the closeness when you commit errors at the rate USC has committed.
As Robinson makes that one count for the Trojans. But we talked about those errors in the beginning of the game, and that was something that they really had to limit, was the service errors. But now it looks like some of those errors overall is getting the best of them here in this second set against the Wildcats. As Klein can't get that one to fall over the net, even though it looks like he tried to put that through there, but couldn't get that one to fall over. And most of the errors come from Dylan Klein on the serve. So that's something that they're definitely going to have to limit here. As Blanchette serves that one up, and Tyler Robinson delivers that one over to the Wildcat side of the hardwood.
Well, with Klein with the errors, the analogy I make is your best hitters in baseball are going to strike out the most because of the power and energy they have. And I think the same could be applied for Klein, who hits at such a high rate. He's going to make more errors. And I don't think that's a knock on his game. It's more just the rate at which he's serving for USC. He served, it felt like, every single time for USC in that first set.
Yeah, it definitely did. As the Wildcats get, or excuse me, USC gets a point here, I do believe. And the Trojans will have to serve here. Rogers sets it up back to Fed. Met at the net by Sterling Foley, the sophomore from Newport Beach. 4 kills, which was a season high for him against St. Thomas Aquinas. And now the Wildcats will be back to serve here. Roberts sets that one up over to Foley, back on the Wildcat side here. Fed just tips that one over. Dylan Klein throws a fake. Rogers trying to set it up for the Wildcats. Trojans keep it alive. Wesley Smith trying to bring it home, and it cannot be saved by Isaiah Fed, so the Trojans will get the point there. And it looks like they're coming close to Fort Valley State.
Yeah, well, you got to give it to the Wildcats for keeping these rallies alive, especially with how hard USC is hitting. Some really good dig work. USC outdug Fort Valley State by 7 in the first set. The Cats already with 5 in set number 2.
And you look at Isaiah Fed here, he's really been all over the hardwood for the Wildcats. I mean, he had a season high 20 points versus Queens University of Charlotte, North Carolina. As Long gets met at the net there, and the ball rolls right to me. I'm gonna hand that off back to the Wildcats as that one went out of bounds. I mean, I wasn't expecting to catch a volleyball here, but who knows, I might take a souvenir home.
Good practice to stay aware.
Yeah.
Reflex.
Always want to make sure I'm on my 10 toes, as Wesley Smith is on his 10 toes and just tips that one over the net to cut the deficit to 2 for the Trojans.
And I mentioned a little earlier about Nygaard potentially using one of his timeouts amid this stretch for Fort Valley State. The Cats have matched their 14 points from the first set, but USC starting to work in a rhythm a little bit more. Still a lot of those starting players out there. We talked with Nygaard pregame. He mentioned the depth that this team has and sort of the ability in non-conference play to cycle through different lineups, but he's still sticking with his guns and doesn't want to stoppage as of late.
Yeah, as that is going to be another error there for USC, as they can't get that one to fall over the net.
Cool opportunity here for the father and son duo. Back to you, Kyle.
Thanks, Aiden. And you talk about father-son duo. That's something that's very prominent now in sports, as we see a lot of son of former athletes are now with each other, playing with each other, as the Trojans get the point there. But going back to father-son duo, Ken Griffey Jr. Let's take a look at this replay real quick as Wesley Smith brings that one over, and the Wildcats can't keep that one in the air.
I mean, just talking about how impressive it is that Coach Rather and his father have been able to build up this program from the ground up.
And Dylan Klein gets that one over for the Trojans, and the Wildcats can't keep that one alive. But yeah, back to this father-son duo. I think it's very, very cool to see now in sports. Even LeBron James and his son, Bronny James, it's really been phenomenal to see. As Wesley Smith will be back to serve for the Trojans. And that one's brought over by Jacob Gray, and the Trojans keep it alive. And Jeremy Jacob Gray is met by Blanchett and Robinson at the net. And the Trojans look like they will get the point there.
Kind of unlucky for USC. Connell with probably the best dig we've seen today. And then Blanchett with the failed block on a couple of players that were shorter than him.
As Roberts sends that one over. And the Trojans keep it alive. As Dylan Klein just taps that one over, and the ball finds me and Casey again. I think the ball itself likes that we're over here, Casey, I have to say.
Gotta stay on your toes, like we said.
Yeah. That's about the third time today that has happened, but the Wildcats take a 16-15 lead here in this second set as Barnes keeps it alive. And Dylan Klein says, not today, and meets the Wildcats at the net to even the score here. And finally, something that I think they've been trying to do all set. As the Wildcats have it here, and Fed brings that one down pretty hard, and the Trojans can't save that one there.
I mean, Fed absolutely carrying Fort Valley State right now, hitting nearly 400 with, that's now his 7th kill. We knew that he'd be a player to watch nonetheless, but also a guy that can be a spark plug, even though he's a guy that starts in games, can really get hot.
And he's gotten hot so far today, as the Trojans will get that point to even the score again. But I mean, he's really been all over the place, every end of the floor, doing what he can to help the Wildcats come out of this set with a win and possibly a win for the day. But the Wildcats will have it here as Fed again pushes that one over and gets the point for the Wildcats.
He's doing a good job of just being cerebral, finding his spots. He's done that early on in the year, but the results haven't necessarily come. As Fort Valley State hitting just under 200. That's a massive improvement from what we saw in the first set.
As that one's kept alive by Rogers. Over to Fed again. And he pushes that one over. And USC will have it here up for Roberts and tries to bring that one home. And he does. For them to even the score here in this second set.
For how good Noah Roberts was early on, kind of wondered why USC wasn't feeding him. But they finally get a good opportunity to get on that right side. Kind of take the pace of the game a little bit more.
Yeah, so it should be interesting to see what USC does here, as that one's thrown over to the side for the Wildcats, and the Trojans will get the point there with the help from Eamon Rigdon, the sophomore, and is an opposite hitter for the Trojans, and he'll be back to serve again. And brings that one over, and it looks like that will be out of bounds, and the point will be awarded to Fort Valley State.
Good thing about these early season games and non-conference play is you can learn your improvements. We talked to Jeff Nygaard pregame, and he talked about knowing the weaknesses and knowing how to fix those weaknesses. Not that serving is a weakness of USC, but I think the Trojans will know going forward that serving precision, especially early on in matches, as it looks like Nygaard potentially challenging the ruling on where the ball was placed here.
And it looks like that will be a challenge. So we'll see if that challenge will be successful by the Trojans head coach, Jeff Nygaard. As we look at the replay here, as they just get that one over, And it looks like that's going to be out of bounds. What do you think, Casey?
Well, no question it's out of bounds, but did it touch Fed is the question. I don't think it did, but maybe worth taking another look at.
Yeah, we'll see if the Trojans are successful here just after.
I mean, while we wait, how about Isaiah Fed, though, hitting 429. Let's see. There's the strike from Connell.
I would say, if anything, it might have grazed his bicep right there as it was going out of bounds, but I can't really tell.
Got to have conclusive evidence, and I just don't see the ball changing direction. I don't know if you saw that, but I don't know if there's enough evidence to overturn it.
Well, we will see here just after Johnny Dykstra just came in for the Trojans to get a pair of fresh legs from the substitution, as there are some more people now filing in here at Galen Center from when this first set started.
Yeah, referee's still taking a look, but I'm just impressed so far from Fort Valley State after hitting in the negative last game and then hitting .05 against UCLA to be hitting 156 against USC, leading in the second set. I think that's a massive improvement. And again, we talked about this game being not a measuring stick per se for Fort Valley State, but maybe a game where you know you have upward odds, but you can learn a lot from your team. And I think Isaiah Fed has put on a show. Just need to get other guys involved. I want to see Muhammad and Baye play a little bit more of an offensive game going forward. He's not out there right now.
Yeah, as we mentioned, their 4-game road trip here in California, they lost those 2 games before coming to Galen Center to face the Trojans. They lost to Long Beach State and UCLA. And after the Trojans today, they will play Cal State University Northridge next. So they're fighting back here in this second set.
Referee's still taking a look. It looks like they're putting in the final.
As the refs are still deliberating to see who it would be out of bounds on, as we are standing by waiting. And the point will be awarded to the Wildcats as that ball went out of bounds.
Yeah, not too shocked on the call standing, but again, another emphasis for Jeff Nygaard is to learn what works, and trusting his gut on the challenge could be one of those things he looks at going forward.
As Fed sends one over to USC side of the hardwood, and Wesley Smith responds back and says, how about that? As he ties the score here in this second set.
He's been so impressive today, hitting close to 700. Hard to sustain numbers like that, but again, just talking about his journey to this point, missing all of last season. Impressive stuff.
And that one's blocked by Blanchette as Wildcats have it again. Long tries to put that one over, and the net stops him there as USC will have the point. But yeah, you talk about a guy like Wesley Smith. I mean, he has 18 kills on the season. He had 10 kills last game versus Princeton, along with 15 points and 8 blocks. And so he's definitely been one of the key guys for the Trojans, especially when you need him. And to serve as Roberts has the ball. Sends that one over. It's caught by Fed. And that one's back over to USC and will be out of bounds.
Just kind of unenforced errors like I talked about, but kind of messy receptions have been the fall of USC in this set. Maybe taking a little bit more of a backseat on some of these hard hit balls.
As Dykstra keeps it alive, and Wesley Smith just pushes that one over the net to give the Trojans a 1-point lead here. We're just talking about this guy, and look what he does. Gets another point for the Trojans.
Yeah, and he's known to be an efficient hitter. His freshman season hit a 509 clip on a season. Obviously missed last year, but his efficiency has been so key, hitting 700 today.
As Christian Connell gets the point for the Trojans on that serve, as the Wildcats couldn't keep that one alive. So it looks like the Trojans have regained the lead here in this second set, despite being down by a significant amount at the beginning of this one.
Kind of knew they would find their way, not having to use a timeout.
And they're successful again. But the Trojans find a way to get another point with the help of Christian Connell, the sophomore from San Diego, California. Last game against Princeton, he had 9 kills and 4 digs. And so far, they've gotten back-to-back points here in the second set.
Fort Valley State didn't do this a lot against Long Beach State, but against UCLA, kind of pushing the Bruins to their limits. Did it against USC in this set. See if the Trojans can close it out.
As the Wildcats get that one over with the help of Tavion Martin. And it looks like they respond pretty quickly. As they make some subs here, as Keaton Long comes out for the Wildcats.
Kind of an uncharacteristic, struggling game for Long. 3 errors, 3 kills.
And Logan Eden will serve that one over to USC. Blanchette sets it up. Dylan Klein is blocked at the net. He's trying to get another try at it. And that one falls over on the Wildcat side, and the Trojans will get the point, and a timeout will be called here by Fort Valley State. Or excuse me, not timeout. They win the set there.
Trying to see the frustrations brewing on Fort Valley State's side to tell that they knew they were really close.
Yeah, so the Trojans get that second set despite starting off slow. So we'll go down to Aiden on the sidelines with head coach Jeff Nygaard.
All right, here with head coach Jeff Nygaard. Coach, what did you like from what you've seen from your team in those first 2 sets?
I love how we're competing. I like how we're communicating. I got our guys are dialed in, and I can pull the guy out there and get the job done.
And coming out of the break here, what's your message to the team going to be entering this 3rd set?
Just it's our side. We got to take care of the ball, first contact, all that good stuff. We got to make sure that we're communicating, because there's a couple of plays I think we can clean up this with better communication.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Kyle.
Thanks, Aiden. As we will be underway here in the 3rd set after this break. Now that the Trojans...
Not so far, because how can you pick up the offense? The defense has been there in a lot of ways.
They came close in that second set as the Trojans are looking to finish it off here as Dylan Klein serves that one over the net. It's dug up by Gray. And it looks like there will be a point for USC as an awkward play there for the Wildcats. I think they try to keep it up with their feet, but the Trojans will get the point.
Well, that's back-to-back plays with the pretty dire communication error for Fort Valley State.
As Dylan Klein sends that one over, and that will be a point for the Wildcats as it goes out of bounds. And we talked about, again, those service errors, majority of them coming from Dylan Klein on the serve. And luckily, in that last set, it didn't really cost them as they found a way to come back. But the Wildcats looking to answer here as that one's dug up by Dykstra. Now over to Roberts on the right side, and he delivers.
And again, it's felt like in USC's case in this match, when Logan Roberts has been able to enforce himself into the offense, that's when those long runs, like we saw at the beginning of the first set, take place.
As Wesley Smith sends that one over to Fed on the Wildcat side. And Long sends it back over to USC. Now back on the Wildcats. They keep it alive. Blanchette just pokes that one over. And USC blocks that one to get the point again, but they don't get the point actually, since Wildcats will have it here.
Once again, Isaiah Fed, who again is kind of a jack of all trades, being able to just get to every spot. He's been pretty much the lone spot of offense in this match for the Cats.
As that one's blocked by the Wildcats and sent over to Rogers, and Fed tries to bring it home, but the Trojans keep it alive as Roberts sends that one over again. And Long tries to put that one over, and it goes out of bounds. So there will be another point for USC here in this 3rd set. as he's trying to calm himself after that one as he's back to serve.
Well, Keaton Long has been one of the best players this season for Fort Valley State, but a frustrating game for him, and they need to unlock some more offense from a second contributor outside of Fed. It's too much on his shoulders right now.
Yeah, he's really been all over the place. But that point will be awarded to the Wildcats as Dylan Klein sends that one out of bounds.
And one element of Jeff Nygaard's talk he had with Aiden earlier was competing, staying in it, not giving up. Even when there are errors, it felt like USC has tried to really craft up plays that work to their best ability.
As Blanchard serves that one up, but it's blocked by Long, so the point will go to the Wildcats. And yeah, like you mentioned, that's something that he did tell us pregame is to just, if one guy is having an off game, is for somebody else to go in there and help the Trojans out to secure the win. As the Wildcats just get that one over the net, and Blanchett tries to tip that over himself, but can't get that one to fall. And they will receive, and the Wildcats will receive another point here.
Got to give it to the Cats bench, just staying in it.
Yeah.
Entire match, regardless of what the scoreboard says.
Talk about the energy. They're really trying to keep their team hyped up in this one as Blanchett sets that one up, and Roberts brings it home as USC will get the point there. Yeah, the Wildcats bench has really been able to keep their players in it with the mindset of, hey, we're still in this. We can come close as USC is back to serve here. And that one cannot fall over the net. Christian Connell, who had a great couple serves in that last set, can't get that one to go over. And Long will have it here for the Wildcats. Dug up by Connell, set up by Blanchett. Dylan Klein brings that one down as it looked like he was jumping out the gym. I can't tell what's in his legs, if those were calves or springs, because he really brought that one home for the Trojans.
Yeah, Dylan Klein just gets up. That's been the secret sauce in his illustrious four-year career at USC. It's been his ability to get up and find his spots. And hasn't made a ton of noise today from that standpoint, but that was by far his most aggressive kill.
As the Trojans just tried to keep that ball alive, but came over here to the stands as a souvenir to one of the fans. But the Wildcats will have the ball here. Gray is back to serve, sends it over to the Trojan side. And Wesley Smith brings that one home to cut the deficit to 1 for the Trojans. It's looking like a familiar start here in this third set like the last one, Casey.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of a preview. When you get Parker Tompkinson back and you can play him alongside Wesley Smith, it's going to be scary for the rest of the MPSF. Smith hitting nearly 730 as he gets a block there.
And that's set up for Fed, and Fed is blocked and met at the net by a pair of 3 Trojans, including Roberts, Klein, and Smith. And they say not today, as Blanchett will be back to serve, but you can kind of see it here. He leaps up, and all 3 of them are like, nope.
And Dylan Klein got the hand on that. He's probably the least expecting guy you'd expect to get a block between 2 guys who tower over him.
Especially when you got a guy like Wesley Smith, who's 6'11". You would think he would get the touch there, but Dylan Klein, 6'6" senior, gets his touch as the Trojans will have it right now. And Roberts brings that one over and is dug up by Gray. Fed trying to answer, and that one just goes out of bounds. And the Trojans will get the point. Oh, it looks like it was tipped. Excuse me. Fort Valley State will have the point there. Blanchett serves Wesley Smith, delivers there. Again, the guy who we've been talking about all day, as he now cut the deficit to 1 point here for the Trojans.
And it's the way he's done it. Talk about Isaiah Fed being everywhere, but Wesley Smith has found a way to play some really nice defense tonight while also getting in the way
again as Dylan Klein can't convert on that serve, and the point will be awarded to the Wildcats. Talked about those service errors earlier, and the majority of them coming from him, which he leads the team in service errors, so they have to limit those today. As Johnny Dykstra can't save that one, and the point will be awarded to the Wildcats. Talk about this Wildcats bench. I mean, they are just keeping themselves in it and celebrating on that side of the court. And looks like the Wildcats will get another point there as the Trojans can't keep that one in the air.
That's just pretty from Logan Rogers. Back-to-back service aces, and he's hitting 500 with 14 assists. He was really frustrated after that second set. He's unleashed here in the third. Fort Valley's
that experience of missing the postseason has really lit a fire for the Trojans this season. Klein's saying that a reoccurring theme is we don't want to have any regrets when that last ball hits the ground. Sending it over to you, Kyle.
Thanks, Aiden. As the Wildcats can't convert anything there, as Rogers was trying to get that serve over, but the Trojans will have the ball here as Wesley Smith will be back to serve.
You talk about the NCAA tournament it's a results-driven business as a measure of success, but it's so hard to get into the NCAA tournament in men's volleyball.
As Dylan Klein tries to bring that one home, but it's saved by Barnes, and now USC will have it again, and they're met at the net by Tavion Martin, and the point will go to the Wildcats again.
Back to my earlier point there, I think for Fort Valley State it makes it so impressive that it's been able to qualify so many times, and for USC in such a gauntlet of a conference. We looked at the rankings earlier. How do you sort of balance out the non-conference schedule while also keeping that full steam ahead? Not many sports you can go 9-0 to start the year like USC did last year and still miss the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, we'll see how this match today ends up, because the Trojans are still trying to find a way to be dominant, which they do with the help of Roberts right there to get the point for USC, and he will be back to serve here. But yeah, when you talk about the NCAA tournament and just the schedule in general, I mean, for USC, they've dominated their last three opponents, and heading into this game, Fort Valley State has kind of had some trouble over UCLA and Long Beach State, as Fed tries to bring that one home, and that's just out of bounds. So the point will be awarded to USC there, as they couldn't keep that one in the air. But their bench is still trying to keep them in the game.
Well, the NCAA expanded to 12 teams for the NCAA tournament this year. And USC, knowing that the national championships will be at UCLA this year, has to be a motivator. But we know how hard the MPSF is. How do you delegate bids when there's only 12 spots in the country? And I think USC navigating that is going to be the challenge this year, as the Trojans have had to do so many times these past few years.
As Roberts serves that one over to Fed, and he sets it up, and they're met at the net by Connell, and the Trojans will get another point here in the third set. But yeah, you talk about this schedule. I mean, for USC, you mentioned it will be at UCLA. That's got to be kind of a motivator for them if they could go on a run this season and finish it off there. But I know their next matchup is against Ohio State, which should be interesting, but we will see how they will perform as Roberts serves it up for USC here, and it's dug up there by the Wildcats, and it's sent over. Blanchett has it on USC's side over to Roberts, and he's met at the top of the net, and Gray knocks it down for the Wildcats to get the point here.
That Ohio State matchup is going to be incredible. We'll have to see this upcoming week how the Buckeyes feed against UCLA, but number 13 team in the country with one loss against Long Beach State. Trojans have an early non-conference battle and a challenge.
As Connell digs that one and can't get that one to fall over with the assist from Blanchett. So Trojans couldn't get that one over the net, and the Wildcats will take the advantage there.
And then you look at Fort Valley State, where the Wildcats, like I mentioned earlier, haven't lost a conference game the past 2 seasons. They've gone a combined 22-0 in conference play over 2025 and 2024. and have still, of course, gotten to the tournament. It speaks to kind of how these games can build up a schedule and a resume.
Blanchette serves that one up for Dylan Klein, and he delivers on the hardwood for the Trojans. But yeah, it has been very interesting for USC, as now they will be serving again after the point from Dylan Klein, as Foley will have the ball now.
And Fort Valley State, you talked about it earlier, playing Cal State Northridge next, number 16 team in the country.
It'll be a rough 4-game road trip for them as Gray gets that one to go over. And that will be a point for the Wildcats right there.
I think the Wildcats have shown a ton of growth from that first game in Southern California to now. The worst one was against Long Beach State, but so many positives coming from this one, even if they can't extend it here in the third set.
As Blanchette has it over to Klein, and he taps that one over, but the Wildcats keep it alive with the help of Barnes and Fed trying to bring it home for them. And the Trojans will get the point there just as that ball goes out of bounds. As Fed was trying to bring that one home, the guy that we've been talking about all day for this Fort Valley State Wildcat team.
He's quieted down quite a bit in this third set, only hitting 227. USC's been able to keep him in check.
As the Trojans try to save that one, but it goes out of bounds. And the point will be awarded to the Wildcats here, as Roberts just didn't have enough under it to keep it up in the air for USC. It looks like they are wiping the floor here as we are just getting ready to serve. Make sure nobody slips and falls. That's always a good thing. So now Gray will have it, and he's back to serve for the Wildcats. Blanchette has it. Klein tips that one, and the point is awarded to USC. Hey, man, he really got up there.
Yeah, that's what he does best. And for USC, another set that's had a frustrating beginning. How do you respond against a Wildcat team that's scraped up a lot of offense?
As Fed sends it over to USC. Now Dylan Klein trying to bring it home, and he's met at the net by the Wildcats, and it's blocked by Fort Valley here, and they will get the point. You saw Klein again trying to get up there and really push that one over, but couldn't succeed on that attempt. So now Rogers will have it here, as they're up by 3 here in this third set, trying to find a way to stay alive. And Mbe will actually have it now. Johnny Dykstra keeps it alive, and Roberts sends that one over, and it looks like that one's gonna be out of bounds for the Wildcats, so USC will get the point on that one.
That's some really impressive stuff by Noah Roberts. Hitting 375 today, only 2 errors. And again, it's that force he's able to bring, find the right spot. Don't always have to find the floor.
As Dylan Klein tries to put that one over, and that one goes out of bounds by the Wildcats. And it looks like he's successful on that serve. And it looks like there will be a timeout.
That's the message he's been preaching to his squad. And one thing's for sure, the Wildcats, they love to have a lot of fun on the sidelines. Back to you, Kyle.
Aiden, as we can see there, as they're trying to hype their team up to keep this set alive, as Klein puts that one over the net, and it's just out of bounds. So that point will be awarded to the Wildcats here. Like we mentioned earlier, Casey, I think the service errors off of Klein really adds to this team of why they would have really so many errors, but specifically from him as he leads the team in that category.
And again, I don't really blame him. I think, again, you're going to have errors from a leader when he's doing so much to contribute on the serving end as well. Obviously something USC wants to clean up, but I think out of everything that's been a struggle for the USC today, I don't know if I'd look at errors as the number one.
Yeah, most definitely. It's just an observation as he's really been the star player for the Trojans, but Blanchette keeps it alive, and they get met at the net by the Wildcats for a second try here by Roberts, and that is no good. But it looks like there will be a point for USC on that attempt.
In the net call on Fort Valley State, getting a little too antsy at the top of your screen. Trojans just trying to slow things down a little bit. Trying to play their game, as Jeff Nygaard talked about earlier.
Yeah, as that call is now awarded the Trojans a serve here. They send it over the Wildcats as Klein sets it up for Roberts, looking to deliver. And Fed has it on the Wildcat side. And that one's tipped. And Klein with a save in the middle of the air. Foley tips that one over. And Blanchette over to Roberts. He's trying to keep it alive here for a second try, and he's successful on that attempt. And you talk about Roberts, this guy has been everywhere on the floor today, really trying to do what he can to help this USC team come out of this game with a win.
The fact that he was able to get so much on that right-hand slam down was the most impressive part on kind of a broken play.
As Wildcats try to keep it alive here, and that ball will go out of bounds. So now the score is even here in this third set. And the Trojans looking to end it here on this Saturday afternoon at Galen Center. As Kano will be back to serve, or excuse me, Sprague, and sends that one over the Wildcat side. And Fed just has a little bit too much juice on that one as that goes out of bounds. And the Trojans will get that point. The Trojans have gone on a 4-0 scoring run here and looking to continue that streak. As Wildcats have it again, and they're met at the top of the net, but that point will be awarded to the Wildcats. And a timeout will be called by Fort Valley State Wildcats.
See Coach Rather and Logan Rogers, who talked a little bit earlier with each other after that second set, trying to cool the tensions down a little bit. Wildcats know that although USC's at set point, rather match point, there's an opportunity for Fort Valley State to capitalize off of timeouts. The Cats have done a really good job after timeouts in this one, especially during timeouts in which Coach Rather put up the T sign.
And like you mentioned, they are at match point here, so the Trojans are looking to finish it off here as they have won both of the first two sets, trying to end it here on the third one, whereas Fort Valley State is trying to keep it alive, and they will not go down just yet, as their benches really kept them involved in this game, trying to give them as much energy as possible, whereas USC is trying to end it here for them, but they really have given them a hard time here today in the third set. But let's take a look at the top performers tonight. Let's start with USC. I mean, it's Wesley Smith, like we talked about him earlier. He already has 10 kills on 12 attacks, along with 1 error, and his hitting percentage is at .600 right now. And we look to the Wildcat side, is Isaiah Fed, 11 kills on 25 attacks, 6 errors, and is hitting .200. So again, some of the top performers that we have seen play here today on this Saturday, as Roberts is back to serve for USC. And that one is dug up by Barnes. Here over to Gray. Klein sets that one up for a match point, trying to end it here. Foley brings that one down, and USC will end it and get the win over the Wildcats in 3 sets. And they will get the win here in the third set over the Wildcats, as they couldn't fight.